Hello, everyone, and welcome to LAUNCHPAD 21. Today, we're sitting down with Shawn Waldman, who's an experienced cybersecurity evangelist. You'll learn what that means. Shawn works a lot in SLED, which I discovered today was state and local governments and education systems. He also works with finance, aerospace, and manufacturing companies. Welcome, Shawn.
Thanks, Judith. Glad to be here.
So, Shawn, I'm looking forward to today's conversation. Why don't you talk to us in your world, and I'm sure it's constantly changing. What are you seeing? What kind of cybersecurity initiatives are you seeing people launch in 2021?
I think for the most part, we're seeing a lot of organizations rush to protection mode. Of course, we've had a lot of we've had two very notable cybersecurity incidents just in the last couple months. The most recent one was just a couple weeks ago, where thousands of Microsoft Exchange servers were compromised. And then before that, we had the SolarWinds attack, which was a supply chain attack affecting many agencies. So I think a lot of companies, or I know a lot of companies, are trying to adjust to those attacks, and they're trying to figure out what they do. Do I find out where my weak spots are? Do I go out and buy software and solutions? So there's a lot of jockeying around right now, just trying to figure out what to do.
So that I want to take a bit of a deeper dive, because you covered so many industries and they all have very specific nuances. I think someone at your firm said FBI compliance officer. I don't know if I'm using the right lingo there, but talk to me a little bit about each specific industry. Go a little bit deeper into what that looks like and what the needs are. Because I think so much of your world is helping people to be proactive, because they don't even know what they don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So if you took each vertical in the SLED space, the state and local space, and education, obviously HIPAA is a concern in those spaces. And then as far as the FBI part of my description there on LinkedIn, resolves around the CJIS compliance, which is an FBI regulation that mandates all police departments in the United States be compliant with cyber directives. And then on the manufacturing and aerospace side, you've got DFARS and CMMC. And if you're from that space, you know what those words mean, and that's DoD compliance. So those are manufacturers that have contracts with the Department of Defense, and they need to maintain a degree of compliance. And then, of course, on the finance side, we've got the SEC and FINRA, of course.
So I see you a bit as a cybersecurity scientist, because each situation requires a lot of investigation in each industry. Why don't you talk a bit, for those industries that you just laid out, how you advise clients? Because I think it's very overwhelming for people. And one of the things I think you do very well is create a sense of calm. And people look at you and decide how upset to get, which is something that I learned as a flight attendant, which is funny. But talk about how you advise clients.
The easiest way that we advise clients is we have to get to know them. So in this particular industry in cyber, it's very easy to there are so many software and hardware solutions out there that do different things, right? They detect certain things, but not the others, and there's a lot of overlap. So the best way that we advise clients is we sit down and we get to know them. So we do that via a product that we call a cyber roadmap, and it's like a blueprint. So in order for me and my team to accurately advise to a customer, a potential customer, I have to know who you are. I have to know what you do, who your vendors are, who your suppliers are, who your customers are. If there's any regulatory needs that you might have, I need to look at risk, and I need to be able to gauge that risk. And all of that has to come into this pot, right? That when I strain it and I pour it into the strainer, what comes out is your solution. And that takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort. There's just so much to choose from. A lot of companies just have to choose somebody to trust. This cybersecurity is a very trust-driven industry. It's probably no surprise that a lot of our customers, the majority of our customers, if not, well, almost all of them, come from referrals.
Yeah.
So it's very warmly driven. It's very hard to just cold call somebody and say, hey, let me have access to all your stuff and I'll protect it. I promise.
That's a good point. And one of the things that I've experienced in working with you is that there is a sense of there's an adult in the room and your people's personal insurance policy. So for someone, I mentor a lot of students, and I'm curious, for someone who's just starting their career in cybersecurity, what kind of advice would you give someone who wants to get into this world?
Check it out first. So it's not as easy as just saying I want to go into cybersecurity. Well, do you want to be an auditor? Do you want to be a pen tester? Do you want to do red team, blue team, purple team? Do you want to do forensic investigations? Do you want industrial controls? There's so many areas of cybersecurity that you just have to really get into a firm or call up a firm and say, look, what options are there? Where do I start? And there's a lot of schools out there now. There's a lot of colleges offering degree programs. There's a lot of online and brick and mortar schools. They're offering cybersecurity program degrees. There's a lot of certificates that you can get. You can just get general cybersecurity certificates. But the most important thing outside of all that's important, and you have to research that, is your experience. And it's one of those. I started out as a police officer. One of the hardest things to do to get hired onto a police department is you have to have experience. And it's tough because you can come right out of the academy and be certified as a police officer, but nobody will hire you because you don't have the experience. But I can't get the experience if somebody doesn't give me a chance, right? I mean, it's confusing. So you have to volunteer. You have to do internships. You have to do whatever you have to do to get your foot in the door with a company, so that you can learn them and you can sit with the experts and you can understand it. So the folks that don't get internships or don't take that time to try and get their foot in the door, that just think, well, I'm just going to go out and get my degrees and my certificates and I'm going to apply.
Yeah.
I mean, one, you're going to get a very entry level position if you get in there. And it's going to be very hard. It's just one of those professions that requires the repetitiveness of doing the work to really get it, because it's very fast paced and it's very high stress.
That is some incredible advice, Shawn, and I'm sure people will benefit from that. I thank you for being on today, Shawn. I wish you and your company the best of luck. Knowing the clients that have experienced you, you're incredible. Your team's incredible. So much luck to you in 2021.
Thanks, Judith.
Thank you.